for the first time in like 177 SEC games or something around there, Vandy is favored as LSU comes to town. Number 10 LSU goes on the road to number 17 Vandy, where Vandy people is a 2.5-point favorite. What are y'all's thoughts on this game?
That's just so crazy. But I think that it's kind of been expected for weeks. I believe I saw a tweet like after maybe it's been like 4 weeks ago that ESPN FPI, which like they do like odds farther out than like just an upcoming week, had Vanderbilt favored. But it is just insane. And it's not only that Vanderbilt is favored against an SEC opponent. Their SEC opponent has a 10 in front of them. I think a lot of it's going to come down to Vanderbilt has a bye week, which is big for them, being able to get rested. I don't know. Did LSU also – who did they play last week? Were they on a bye?
No, they played South Carolina.
That's right.
Their 20 millionth night game at home in the SEC.
That's all they get.
Yep.
We go there. A&M goes there next week for a night game.
It's insane.
Which makes a little more sense than South Carolina being a night game, but I digress.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Aaron Anderson, LSU's best receiver, and he's going to be a good draft pick and then become another great LSU receiver. Probably is going to play. He's probable at the moment. But he's dealing with a knee issue. So like even if he does play, he's not at 100%, and he is a key part to Nussmeier and this LSU offense. Their offense has scored more than 23 points just once this season against Southeastern Louisiana, where they scored 56 points. Every other game has been under those 23 points. They want to throw the ball a ton. Last week was the first time that they ran for more than 4 yards per carry against South Carolina. They ran for 5.5 yards per carry. But for me, the key to this game is going to be how does Vandy play? Off the bye week, one. Off the kind of a technically an emotional letdown and a loss to Alabama where you felt like you're in that game and you gave it away. And how will they play against LSU's defense? LSU's defense has given up more than 10 points just once this season when they lost to the school up north 24-19. So Vandy's got to score. Obviously, you have to score to win games, but how do they fare against this LSU defense? I think that kind of tells the story of the day. My other kind of question was like, what's the crowd going to be like? We'll talk about this in a game coming up. In fact, the next game. But is it going to be like a 60-40 Vandy crowd? Is this going to be an 80-20 Vandy crowd? Because LSU fans travel. They're not afraid to. And in the SEC, pretty much everybody travels to Vanderbilt too because you travel. I spoke about this with our State Tennessee game. When you're an SEC team and you feel like, oh, we're going to beat this team, now's the opportunity to travel and go see that game. It's also in Nashville. Nashville's a great city to travel to. So is LSU going to be like 50-50 with this crowd in their makeshift stadium that's still under construction? I think it could end up hurting Vanderbilt in a way. But I want to see how Pavia plays against that defense. Does he avoid the turnovers? Is he able to score in key moments? Because there's not really a reason to trust LSU's offense right now at all. And with less than 100% Aaron Anderson, there's even less of a reason. I'm going to say last week was a fluke running the ball against South Carolina. I don't think they would continue to have that kind of success. And so if Vanderbilt can score...
Feels like a race to
21 points, 3 touchdowns, I think they have a really good chance to win and cover.
Yeah, and I love what you said about Diego Pavia taking care of the ball and scoring in key moments because last time we saw him against Alabama, 2 red zone turnovers. That's the worst case scenario for when it comes to taking care of the ball and scoring in key moments. You're not doing either of those things. So I think that's going to be a big part. Is can he not only avoid the turnovers, but don't turn the ball over in the red zone. You're throwing away 3 free points at that point and potential 7 points. That's just worst case scenario. And then as far as like home field advantage goes, I don't foresee it being majority LSU. I think I think that the reason there were so many Tennessee fans is because State was expected to be really bad coming into this season. I don't think Vanderbilt had that expectation. I think that I think Diego Pavia had created excitement in that Vanderbilt fan base to the point where like the tickets were in such high demand that most of them, if not all of them, are going to be like Vanderbilt fans.
Sure.
So I don't expect it to be majority LSU. I could be very wrong. It just makes a lot more sense that when a team is projected to win 3.5 games,
Sure.
that's when opposing teams are going to waltz in and like pack it out like 50-50.
Yeah, I still don't think it's going to be a scenario there where LSU walks in and the first possession, it's like, wow, Garrett Nussmeier can't hear.
Yeah.
Oh, back-to-back false starts. You
Yeah.
know, something like that.
I think you could have every Vanderbilt student on that campus in that stadium. That wouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
it
it's
only
just-
holds like 6,000, not 6,000. That's the student body is 6,000. I don't know how large the stadium is. It's not large.
6,000 would be insane.
The
They
student
have,
body
They
is
have
6,000.
it's a high school stadium at that point. Basically, you got a home visitor
It's
side
probably
with
not bigger than
decent
my. Hold up.
bleachers.
Do you want? Let's guess because you already looked. You just
Yeah, I
looked it up.
have it.
45,000.
No, I don't think it's 40. I'm gonna say 38.
You would win it, and the price is right. 40,000.
Bang. I would win. I was closer and
Yeah,
under.
you'd
so
win
I'd
it both ways.
Win it either way.
This game is gonna 100% be a defensive slugfest. I know we're hearing Garrett Nussmeier is the healthiest he's been all season. I'll believe it when I see it. The run game's not been there for them consistently, but the one thing they've been able to hang their hat on is defensive, just excellence, to be honest. And I think that can continue in this game. The big thing is can you just keep loading the box and then play one-on-one on the outside and dare them to take deep shots and just trust Mansour Delane, A.J. Halsey, the other corner to make plays and to just not lose one-on-ones. Can you get away with that? Can Vandy, even with a loaded box, find success on the run or in the short pass game, the extension of the run game and the screens and the quarterback scrambles and all of that and have success there? What does that look like? I think this could be a big Eli Stowers game, personally. Just talking about one-on-one matchups on the outside. Well, then he's got the big frame to win one-on-one matchups or make catches over the middle, get involved in the run game. He's a former quarterback. Maybe do a little double
Drop a
pass
trick
action
play.
with them, something like that. But it
Maybe
really,
you roll him out to the left for like a screen pass on the 2-yard line.
yeah, maybe you do that. Hopefully he
he
catches it, and hopefully he
Is
gets
set
set
first.
first. But no, it 100% just kind of feels like a race to 20.
Yeah.
Not even a race, a crawl to 20.
Yeah.
Who's gonna crawl to 20? Who's gonna force the big turnover where then their offense only has to drive 25 yards to score? Something like that is kind of what I'm looking at for this game.
And that being said, can I go ahead and make my pick, or you have more to say, JP?
I was going to say just piggyback, and then he can. Total's 48.5, and Josh Pate said he considered making it one of his best bets, but he hasn't put
to bet the under.
to bet the under on
yeah.
48.5, but he doesn't put best bets on there.
Low unders are just so scary because all it takes is a stupid play late or someone returned a punt for a touchdown, and that doesn't normally happen. And then the 48, which feels really safe because it's just such a low over, that it just gets busted.
Yeah. That being said, being a race to 20, I trust Vanderbilt's offense to get to 20 more than I trust LSU's offense, and I'm going to pick them to win that game 2017. Vanderbilt's favored by 2.5, which means that you want to take the team favored when you're getting that kind of number. So I will be taking Vanderbilt to cover.
Sure.
I learn. I remember.
I trust Vandy's offense to get to 20 more than I trust LSU's offense to get to 20. But I trust LSU's defense to keep Vandy from getting to 20 more than I trust Vandy's defense to keep LSU getting to 20. So I am going to take LSU to cover the 2.5, and that means most likely win this game.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt. I think they'll win and cover the 2.5 points. I think the home field will help them. And obviously, if this was playing in Death Valley, it's a completely
I was going
different
to say,
story.
it's way
Yeah.
better than playing there at the very least.
So I think that is in large part why I feel that way. Even if it was a high school crowd, which their capacity is actually 35,000 right now with the renovations they're doing.
Sure.
That's exactly. I said exactly. Did I say
Look at you,
38?
yeah.
I
You
said
said
38.
38.
I said
38.
38.
Good try.
Freak.
That's still very well done, though.
Preach.
Well, then we both are wrong. Price is Right style. So
Correct.
Good thing we're not playing prices right.
Sure.
But I'm Vanderbilt. I think they will not turn the ball over and control the football and get to 21 points and win this game like 21-17. And then obviously if I'm picking Vanderbilt, I'm taking the 2.5 points as well.
Yeah.
So give me Vandy to win and cover. To talk about like the discourse from Mott and Tucker, I don't necessarily disagree, but they also like, and to answer Tucker, they're the 10th ranked team in the nation, so the 10th ranked team is going to feel like the most fraudulent top 10 team in a way. And this is also one of those like seasons that Jack and I had an argument that was 5 texts long about whether or not teams can do anything this season. It feels like every team has some kind of flaw in a way, and there are no perfect teams whatsoever. Like even Ohio State, you still have questions about Julian Sayin and whether or not they can run the football, and I could go on. And if LSU wins, no, they don't deserve to be in the top 5. Montgomery.
Well,
But I do think Tucker does raise a good point. I'd have to go back and look. Are they the most so yes, they are going to feel the most fraudulent in this year's ranking, but are they the most fraudulent like number 10 team? Because it feels like it might be pretty close.
I mean, I just feel like there's kind of a team or two every year where it's like, how is this team top 10? I don't
Yeah.
know for sure.
I don't think so because their defense is playing as a top 5 defense for the most part.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships.
And defense
True.
does win championships. And that's our biggest calling card for Ohio State being number 1 right now is their defense. In large part, it's one of the big calling cards for like Texas Tech right now is how well they've played defensively. So I don't even necessarily agree with that either. I think their defense is top 10, in fact, top 5. Like I said, they've only allowed more than 10 points
Sure.
once this season. That was a game they lost.
In terms of Mont's question, very, very unlikely. I guess if for some reason Texas Tech lost, A&M lost, Ole Miss, you honestly almost need Ole Miss to win to help your resume, because then it's like, okay, we're a one-loss team and we lost to an undefeated SEC team
Yeah.
that just went on the road and beat Georgia. But it is very, very unlikely. But they really would just confirm their spot as a top 10 team, probably even really top 8 or something like that if they did win this game.
Yep.
And Sven, that stat is pretty crazy. I saw it earlier this week.
Yeah, I'll just read it out for people watch or listening later and not watching.
No, because who are they jumping, Mont? You'd need,
I
like
won't
Jack
read it out,
said, you
never
need A&M to lose. So it would have been Ohio State. It's going to be Ohio State, Miami, Indiana. You'd need A&M to lose. So that would knock that team out. And then, like Jack was saying, you kind of need the school up north to win. And that would keep them in the top 5. So there's 4 out of the 5 teams. And then you need Tennessee to go and beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa, which hasn't happened since 2003. So, but you could make the argument Tennessee could be in the top 5.
Sure.
With Georgia losing a second game. So I think it's just hard for them to be in the top 5. Maybe the top
They're
6.
right there, though. They're right there for sure.
You had a stat you were going to read, sorry.
Well, I was just going to read the stat that Sven commented.
Yes.
For those people listening and are not watching the live stream and can see the comment section. Last week, Lenora Sellers rushed 19 yards on 22 attempts, but his total number of yards traveled, including dropbacks and scrambling, was 894 yards.
He was running.
Aura.
He was hauling.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. He was moving. LSU was forcing him to move all over.
They're a very good defense.
Yeah.
I will say what weeks I saw was questionable on the report.
Yeah,
I hope
I
he
was just
plays.
looking at that. Have you picked?
We have all picked.
We've all picked.
Yes.
Cool.